Hello, everybody, and welcome to the reflections of a former practicing Sangoma. And in today's video, I wanted us to talk about the introduction of demonic ideas and introduction of witchcraft to our children in cartoons, presenting it in a palatable manner for children, and also disalarming parents. That parents are actually not even really paying attention to the things or the ideas that are being presented to our children in the form of cartoons, right? So there's a lot of examples of this out here, but I'm going to focus on 3 or 4 today. Before I proceed, I just wanted to ask you guys to please like this particular video and share it, because I believe that this video is one of the more important messages that I'm about to share as it pertains to our children. The first one that I'd like to touch on is Wicked, because it's a newly released cartoon type of animation that has people, I don't know what you call it, but yeah, it stars Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, right? And it's literally about witchcraft. The title of the movie is called Wicked. But the more sinister idea behind this, and I don't know if this is intentional or if in fact it was a mistake, they are saying it is a mistake. There are dolls that are being sold that are attached to this movie, and then it directs the children to a site for adult entertainment. They are saying that it was a mistake when they were designing the box of the merchandise. They had placed that particular website as a placeholder. But my whole thing is, use anything else other than a website for adult entertainment as a placeholder, especially if you know that you are designing a box or merchandise that is targeted towards children. It's one of the scandals that is attached to this particular movie. The reviews on this movie, I haven't watched it myself, but the reviews on this movie is that this is witchcraft. And I mean, I can believe it, because one of the characters is literally painted green, has green skin, wears a pointy hat. There's brooms in the I mean, it's literally overtly introducing witchcraft to our children. So I would not even recommend even watching this yourself to see if it is safe for your kid to watch, because it is clearly very obvious that whoever is behind this is trying to introduce demonic ideas to our children about witchcraft. So, Wicked for me is a no. It's obvious, it's clear that they are promoting witchcraft based on even just the characters themselves. Also, there's a lot of controversy that is attached to the actresses that are involved. People are saying they are starving, they are looking too thin. Every time they're being interviewed, they are crying. People are now wondering what was actually going on behind the scenes. I can tell you for free, if you give the devil a platform, the devil will use it. If you give him space, the Bible says, don't give place to the devil. So if you give the devil a place, he will come, he will occupy the space, he will do whatever he needs to do. We don't know whether the actresses are being tormented or whatever the case may be, but there's a lot of concern regarding the actresses. Every time they're appearing for an appearance as it pertains to the movie, they end up being very emotional. People have pointed out the fact that they have lost a tremendous amount of weight while shooting this movie. Was it the suspicions of, was it a toxic work environment? We don't know. But all I know is that if you give place to the devil will take place. So this particular movie, as far as I'm concerned, it's clear that this is based on witchcrafty ideas. So I don't recommend that you take your children to this movie. And this is the one movie that is actually being targeted towards our kids at this particular moment in time, because they understand it's holidays, kids are going to be at home. You want the kids to be entertained. You still may be working from home, trying to do your own thing, trying to get the kids to leave you alone while you actually do your work. You would then, direct them to watch movies and whatever the case may be. I get it, because I am a mom. I have 2 young kids, and that's what you would do. That's the first movie. The second one, this is The Little Mermaid. Came out, I think, earlier on last year, if I'm not mistaken. But it's been, I mean, I grew up watching The Little Mermaid. So I grew up watching Ariel with the red hair. Ariel is a mermaid, lives under the sea, wants to come over into the ocean. And this is the introduction of the marine kingdom, if you actually think about it. But they presented it in a nice way. So Hollywood has been demonic from the onset. And people are like, no, a person has great imagination, great imagination. I have realized the older that I become is that it's not imagination. These ideas are actually based on reality, or they are based on whatever a person is experiencing in their life at that particular moment in time. Ariel is based on a mermaid. And I've spoken about this extensively with regard to witchcraft, sangomas, and the marine kingdom. And this is exactly the workings of a marine kingdom. They're introducing it to our children in a palatable manner and disalarming us to allow us. Ariel sings beautifully. Ariel wants to be a human being. Ariel has this wish. She goes to a witch. Again, the witch casts a spell. All of the things that are demonic are also now being introduced to our children in a palatable manner. I am completely against The Little Mermaid. Because The Little Mermaid is a culprit again of disalarming parents while introducing the marine kingdom to our kids in a manner that is disalarming. She's beautiful, she's pretty. First of all, those creatures are nothing but beautiful. They don't look like human beings. And the features that they do have that resemble a human being's appearance are not beautiful. They can't be. Think about it. They live underneath the ocean and they live in the deep sea. So they cannot be pretty. Their skin does not look pretty. They have scale. Their teeth do not look pretty. They don't look like human beings. It's actually scary. They have webbed hands. They don't have normal hands. So yes, the presentation of the thing and the idea of it, they present it in a palatable manner. But the creatures don't look like that in actual fact. And sometimes when our children are saying, oh, I'm having a nightmare, there's a monster underneath the bed, you dismiss it as a parent, right? And you'll be like, these things don't exist. I will tell you, when I was a kid, I used to have hectic dreams, right? I would have dreams of myself walking in our backyard, but in the backyard, there would be animals that were ginormous. So there would be crocodiles that would be ginormous and they'd be walking around. Then they wouldn't be harming me, but they'd be huge. These animals would be like 20 times bigger than what they were supposed to be. And as a kid, I was having those dreams. And I realized now, like I said, I told you, I was watching things like The Little Mermaid when I was growing up and many others. Um, and now I realize that me watching those things was actually a doorway being opened by the devil to introduce demonic ideas, amongst many other things that were happening, of course. Demonic ideas into my little brain as a kid in a way that I didn't even know. So, guys, you need to be careful about the content. We need to be careful about the content that our children are consuming. Even if it's in cartoon format, we still need to actually actively watch what they are watching so that we can determine, is it spiritually safe for our children to be consuming this content or not? The last culprit I will tackle is Moana. That movie, I am very guilty of actually making one of my children consume this movie. Because this movie came out during the time when I was being called to be a sangoma, and I say that in inverted commas. And this movie explained everything that was happening with me in a cartoon format. So I know for a fact that this movie is demonic. I'm telling you that for a fact. Initially, she starts off with the ocean is calling me. I'm drawn to the ocean. The ocean is busy doing these weird things. And I can tell you that a lot of people that have a spiritual calling to be a sangoma, to be a prophet, also have this weird relationship with large bodies of water. where it feels like you're connected to the water, where the water is calling you, or they have an unhealthy aversion to water, where they are very scared of the water because of the pull the water has on them. So this particular movie is guilty, and it ticks all the boxes of the introduction of an altered spirituality. Okay. It's the introduction of the water. It's the introduction of, you have been identified by the water spirits, that there is a bigger mandate that you need to fulfill that other people can't fulfill. So this is the storyline of Moana, that she has been called by the water. She's been identified by the water spirits to restore the heart of Tafiti, right? We see her drowning several times in the water. We see her underneath the water. We see her having these experiences with the creatures in the water, which is something that you would experience when you are being called as a sangoma. This is something that actually happened to me. In one of my dreams, when I was being called, I would literally go underneath the water, and I would experience me interacting with crocodiles, me interacting with hippopotamuses. I would be interacting with the marine kingdom, right? As a human being. And this is something that actually happens in that cartoon as well. So Moana for me is a big no-no, right? Then you have the grandmother who is saying to her, "Oh, my child, accept your calling, accept your calling," which is something that happens when you are being called to be a sangoma. You start seeing your great grandparents telling you about this mandate that you need to do, and only you can do it. You have been identified. This is synonymous with being called as a sangoma, and we see it in Moana. And Moana is something that is produced in Hollywood. And my point is that the devil does not have unique ideas. He has similar ideas. He uses similar ideas in different contexts. He just changes the narrative so that it makes sense to the people at that particular place. But in fact, the ideas are not new. That is why you see synonyms in Moana in the story that I'm telling you, right? Because I bet you that the person that story is based on, they're saying that it's based on Hawaiian myths. So it's not even African things, African ideas that are based on this particular movie, but it's synonymous. You hear the similarities as I'm explaining it to you. Interacting with mythical creatures, what is it? Maui is identified to be a demigod who's able to shapeshift, able to occupy certain spaces, and whatever the case may be. And again, this is something that is very synonymous with being a sangoma. Shape-shifting, when you get creatures, things like amaboys are shapeshifters. Imkovu, also shapeshifters. You've got birds that can shapeshift as well as the cats. Monitoring spirits, in fact, are shapeshifters. Satan himself is a shapeshifter. And here we have the introduction of Maui, who is what? A shapeshifter. Who did what? Who did and went and took the heart of Tafiti. And because he took the heart of Tafiti, there was an imbalance in the world. And now this little girl needs to go and restore the balance, which is basically the narrative that you are being fed when you are being called. That there's this thing, there's this disease in the family that needs to be healed, and you are the only person that can do it, and no one else can do it. So you need to go and initiate as a sangoma so that you can awaken your power, so that you can come and heal the people. You will even go as far as when you are being called as a sangoma, it will even go as far as you may see yourself at the ocean. I used to have this dream a lot, and I know a lot of my clients used to have this dream a lot, where you would be at the ocean and there would be so many people. There'd be a lot of people there. And then you would be told that, you see these people, all of these people are sick, and they're waiting for you to come and heal them. And you can't heal them until you go and you initiate. So you need to now go and initiate so that these people can receive a calling. So you are also being manipulated in your dreams so as to accept this calling. This movie is completely and totally demonic. Okay? completely, and it's palatable. I mean, the music is nice. You're welcome. You're welcome. I know this movie because I used to watch this movie with my kid. This movie is completely, completely, completely no, 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 no. Right? Um, yeah, I don't know how else to. I mean, there's lots of others, but I think these are the top three movies that come to mind when I think about. I mean, Moana for me takes the cup. It's number one, because it's the introduction of spirituality outside spaces of reality and functioning, and I'm bringing it to your attention because we don't want to give the devil place. We don't want to give space to the devil. We don't want to give him a place to occupy even in our children's minds. So please like this video. Please share it, because I think that this is one of the more important videos that I have made, because it pertains to people who are unaware, in fact, of the existence of demonic ideas. I mean, our children are innocent, so they wouldn't even know to look out for demonism in a cartoon character if it would exist in their mind. So if you can please just like and share this video so that this message can be spread far and wide. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.